freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking and defense. Translation: we ain't got nothing.
Hey folks, Dude here, coming to you out again, another iteration of Dude After Dark, and this one's going to be a stripped-down version of my usual stuff. I mean, I'm really kind of like looking at being like half prepared, because literally I'm rolling into this thing like last second, sliding into home and kind of making things have happen. So I'm not doing stuff. What is going on off to the side there? And literally, the Remington and the resident Doodle he's snooping around, so I don't know what the heck he's up to, but he's into something, because he's always into something. That's just all that he does. It's kind of a presence of being. It's his standard state of being, and it's just how he rolls. So, looking at things as it is, looking down the pike, I got to be doing a little bit more show prep stuff here. So, those of you stopping in, and I'm running a little bit belated, so I do apologize on that one. Usually, I'm a little bit better prepped, and I have all my ducks in a row, and I'm good to go. Okay, you know, there's literally no instance where I'm just kind of just going, oh my, what in the world am I going to do here? I really truly have no idea what I'm doing. All my ducks are oh, stop. All my ducks are in a row. Sound guy, seriously, really, the duck. Okay, anyway, looking at things as it is, let me remove his ability to play with the duck. I got the duck now, okay? See, that's me. That's me. I got the duck. He doesn't have the duck. All right, so better things are going on, and he doesn't have the duck any longer, and we are now set without him playing with the duck. Oh, dude, stop with the ding, okay? Every bloody time I have to be, oh, dude, seriously? Okay, he's doing it yet again. Okay, anyway, Patriot Fever, appreciate you coming by in the room. Salute you, sir. Good stuff like that there. Let me get my ducks. I got it. I got the quack. Okay, so he doesn't have quack ability any longer. I'm the one who has the quack. Okay, that's right. Me alone with the. That's right. I have the power of the. So anyway,
put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Really, dude? Okay. Anyway, so let's just close the door on that one. Sound guy is running just, you know, standard sound guy. Maybe not a muck, but he's definitely rendering himself in a, you know, standard sound guy type of obnoxiousness. And we are now doing things because, well, we're now dealing with, you know, the rampaging, running amok, usual sound guy craziness, and we shall move out smartly. Those of you who survived VD, also known as Valentine's Day, I commend it to you. Mrs. Dude and I went out and actually did something nice. So good stuff on like that one. And I do appreciate, you know, we have the female type companionship and good stuff like that there. Obviously, you know, we do serve a purpose to them every once in a blue moon. So, you know, we do actually come in handy once in a while. Oh, man. But anyway, look at us things as it is. It's come out to be kind of really interesting. I'm going to jump right into this whole Canadian thing. Patriot Fever, are you sure that you having the quack is the best position for everyone? Absolutely, dude. I got the quack. No problem now. Sound guy can't play with the quack. Oh, Jesus. I forgot with a large sound library, there's a lot of things that he can...
put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
He doesn't have the Schwartz, though. Oi, I see a Schwartz is as big as mine. Oh.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Yeah, that's, you know what? I think I need to get me some Spaceballs sound bites just for the fun of it. And yes, the power of the quack. I have the power of the quack. So he doesn't have the power of the quack. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one, but basically what it was the Canadian truckers were fundraising on GoFundMe. If you know GoFundMe, essentially what it is it's a intermediary. I don't know if even saying in the same realm of maybe like PayPal, But what it is, it's like a crowdsourcing website where you have a cause. Let's just be generic here and call it something that's not going to be like too presumptuous. So, the YouTube algorithms and those of, in the powers that be, as it were, doesn't go, oh, you said something we don't like, and we're gonna, Thor's hammer, we're gonna smash that video into insensibility, and we'll knock it out. Case in point, I did a video about the Chinese communist covert viral infection, and it wasn't that much more overt than my standard stuff, but I think what it was, because I mentioned it by name, calling it the covert viral infection in the video description, they yanked the video, and they were like, you know what, you're going to get a channel strike for 90 days. Thor's hammer, you're going to be taught a lesson that blah, 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 and this, that, and the other thing, and we don't like when you XYZ and PDQ. So I'm now riding that 90 days to get that channel strike off. And the messed up thing is, more people than not tend to think that, of all things, Facebook could be way worse in terms of the censorship about talking about anything health related, shall we say, quote unquote health related. And what it was is essentially the video got bashed. I mean, it got just raped, pillaged, and burned, pulled off of YouTube, and they were like, you know what? You got a channel strike, and if you do it again, you can get another channel strike. And if you get that third channel strike, boom, we're going to kill your channel. So I'm really not nibbling around the edges so much as just trying to be snarky. So I'm still posting my stuff up, and I'm being just a little bit snarky about it in the way I'm saying, oh, this is about the Chinese communist covert viral infection, that, in such a way, shape, and form that they really, truly don't hang me out to dry. And I pretty much have, I kind of have held one over them that, they really can't stop me from being as I am, as it were. That harmless little fuzzball. Oh. No, I am not him, okay? Honors and glory be to, Maharishi. No, I'm not nearly in the same realm as him. But way, shape, and form, essentially what it was. I just got to be a little careful now. So what I'm now trying to do is I'm trying to be snarky, nibbling around the edges without being completely overt about things, and rendering myself to be just completely, I got this one, sound guy, rendering myself to be completely just, yeah. Yeah, just, yeah, rendered completely into caca. That's exact. Well, I'll be talking about Joe Caca later on, but so anyway, let me go back to what I was talking about originally here. I'm going round and round in all circles here. Patriot Fever. Is it GoFundMe or go, F word with an X limb? Actually, you know what it is? It's pretty much a little bit of both. Reason being is GoFundMe was like, oh, there's Canadian truckers protesting things, and I'm not going to get into the MN date. So the MN date of which they are protesting concerning the Chinese communist covert viral infection and shutting down the bridges and whatnot. Actually, I got a little bit of bad news for Trudeau and company in Canada. Okay, you chase them off the bridges. You open up the bridges. Now, who's to say most American truckers are like, you know what? I'm really siding with these Canadian guys, and I choose not to take loads into or out of the Great White North. So let's be perfectly specific here. One of the bridges I remember reading about moves somewhere in the order of $300 million of stuff per day or something along those. It's a very, very busy bridge. It's like 25% of all the trucking, import and export, going into and out of Canada. Now, if you guys know there's geography, Canada is just a massive country. It's actually bigger than the United States. But the thing about it is there's a reason why they refer to it as the Great White North. It's because 75% of the population lives within 150 miles of the U.S. and Canada border. Simply because the further north you go, the more tundra-like you're getting, the more like white you're getting, the more flipping cold as all get out you're getting. So charitably, most of the population has a population belt that runs alongside the border with the United States. Now, we really truly don't have to worry about the Canadians, like, tramping across the border and invading the United States because they're pretty content to be Canadians. And, we really truly have good times and we really have good tidings with our fine neighbor to the north. So, as things are working out, the truckers are making Trudeau knuckle the hardcore, well, we're now going to activate this never before used means of almost martial law. Oh, we're going to be doing it only geographical areas and only certain areas that are grossly affected and this, that, the other thing, blah, blah, blah. All the truckers need to do is they need to get off the bridge and they need to simply just park their truck somewhere else in another gathering that's also going to get just as much media attention. And in the process of shutting down that operation and in the process of really not doing anything, Canada's economy is just pretty much just going to come screeching to a halt. So, in the process of the truckers not blocking the bridge, which was a really good protest in my eyes, they simply just don't work. They have a work stoppage. They have essentially a, sit down. I'm not going to drive, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a little get together and whatnot. And in the process of doing so, many people were like, yeah, this is an awesome blanking cause. I'm going to support this. So they were putting a lot of money into GoFundMe. It was $9 million bordering on $10 million. And GoFundMe immediately got political, was like, oh no, we cannot allow these guys to be supported. We're going to have to shut this down. So in the process of shutting it down, the realm of thinking that they had was, well, we're just going to redisperse the funds to something that we find unique and good. And in all intents and purposes, we're just going to redistribute this fund amount to a charity that we deem worthy. Well, if you think about things, that's a high crime. That's misallocations of funds. That's outright theft. And also this misrepresentation of contractual arrangement after the fact. And that's just putting it, bluntly, to say that they were, misallocating funds. No, they were stealing. So what probably happened is they were like, yeah, we got these guys, we jacked them up against the wall. They're got no recourse, da-da-da-da-da. Immediately, Ron DeSantis in Florida was like, you know what? I'm tasking my attorney general with investigating GoFundMe to find out where the money is going to, why are they doing this, and also because I am a state governor with an attorney general, I will drag them into court in my state because I know that there's obviously some people from Florida who were affected as contributors. Now, that's part of the problem with any of these online corporations. They're like, oh, yeah, well, we're a virtual entity in the state of blah, blah, blah. You can't affect us in this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, that's not the situation at all. Anytime that you enter into a business transaction with somebody anywhere else, you now have a major problem, and it's crossed over from the interstate to interstate commerce. It's now crossed over into state versus state commerce, which is now federal. Of course, the feds aren't going to do a damn thing about it because I'm sure they're probably in, the White House going, oh, you're so brave. You're so courageous. This is amazing. How couldn't you do something like this? This is operationally amazing. Probably needed a golf clap on that one. But anyway, so way, shape, and form, essentially, that these guys did was they were playing the game. And hang on a second, I got to do something here real fast. There we go. That's what I needed. There's a function that I have on my tablet. I have a great little app downloaded, and it's basically just a no sleep app. So the display literally won't turn off. It'll run until the battery dies. Anyway, that's how to activate it. So anyway, GoFundMe in their infinite wisdom was like, oh, we'll just allocate the funds to this charity that we, air quotes, that we find and deem worthy. And immediately Ron DeSantis and probably some other, very red state governors were like, oh, hell no. And it took like about a day or two for GoFundMe to go, oh, snap. And I'm sure they actually had the board meeting where they all were sitting around going, oh, snap. And I mean like, OMG, snap. Like, this is really going to hurt painfully. If he drags us in and we get held up to task and we get drug into court, We literally have no recourse on this one. So GoFundMe, their infinite wisdom was like, well, okay, here's the deal. If you fill out this form, we'll reimburse you the funds that you allocated towards the truckers in Canada, if you do it within a certain timeline. So if you do it within a certain timeline and you make sure that you dot all the I's, cross all the T's, you'll get your money back. Maybe. We might talk to your bank, and if your bank's a charitably, leftist or left of center organization, they'll probably treat you just as bad as we're treating you right now. And that took about another day, and then GoFundMe was like, oh snap. So they really found out that a governor in a state with that much swing, because if you look at the way things work in the United States, you have California, Texas, Florida. And Florida, mark my words, Florida is going to be a powerhouse that might outdo California within the next 3 to 5 years. Mark my words. From what I understand, they're selling, and I just heard this news story just the other day, they are selling houses down there. So you're selling the houses, obviously. You're selling houses, nothing crazy. The open house literally looks like a flea market. 50 people are standing in line to walk through this house and go, oh, yeah, okay, this one's laid out pretty good. I think I could live with this, tweak, tune, this, that, and the other thing. I think I could buy this. The houses in Florida are selling not for the asking price, but they're asking for they're going for the asking price plus $200,000 to $300,000 or more above the asking price, and they are getting that asking price of 2 to 3 to whatever much more than the number that was posted on the original. Hey, this house is for sale for XYZ. Those houses are selling like hotcakes. And right now, there's a major influx of peoples from affected blue states that don't want to live there any longer, and they're going to an area where they can see things are just better. Blue state, red state, people are just going to vote with their wallet, and they're going to vote with their feet, and they're going to go from the one place that sucks to the one place that's better. And that's the simple economics, folks. That doesn't even bother with anybody's party affiliation. That crosses all borders, all lines, and everybody of any entity. They just simply look at it and go, this one's going to work out better for me. This one's going to detract me. Why in the world am I going to spend X amount much more to live in a restrictive society that's not going to allow me to do things that are good for me in the long view? And just case in point, you're outputting all these additional funds to live in a place like New York City or Philadelphia and these other places where you're seeing very, very blue styles of leadership, shall we say. Chicago. Any of these really, really blue areas, and you're seeing crime going through the roof. The cops are screwed. The median income is stagnant. And, oh yeah, real estate is going up. Why in the world would you make yourself sit there for the next 30 to 40 years until you retire, probably down to Florida anyway, but next 30 to 40 years where you're stuck there watching the place fall apart around you while putting in so much tax revenue as the place is falling apart around you? It does not make any logical sense to stay there. So you're having this major just ingress, call it what you will, the great movement of people voting with their wallets to get out of blue areas and go into red areas. Now, the only thing I can say on this one, and I've said this for time and eternal, if you leave a bad area politically, don't bring your bad habits and voting habits with you to the new place and drag it down to make it something in the long view like something you just left. Now, look back to the room here 1 second here. Martina Sasquatch, way to go. Ron, nice to see a Republican going after the robber barons like they did when T. Roosevelt was in office. Now, okay, Martina Sasquatch, I got to be completely honest with you here. TR was not a conservative, okay? TR, in his infinite wisdom, said, oh, I want to have a bunch of land set aside for all the wildlife and everything. Did he do it with any kind of public use? No. He said, Loris Hammer, this is government land, and it shall be decreed as such as park property. Well, I got to tell you, if you look at the map, there's a lot of states that are park property, read like government property, that you really truly don't have a whole hell of a lot of ability to go on there without the special permissions therein. And if you get caught doing anything on there that they don't like, well, they're going to hang you out to dry. Case in point, like when they tried to pull that crap on the Bundys, the Bundy Ranch where they were grazing their cattle in supposedly public lands. Well, if you know anything about grazing cattle don't kill the grass. They come over, they eat it level with the ground, they leave some dung, and they keep on trucking. Now, what that forces the grass to do is the grass is like, oh, snap, I've just been leveled to the ground. I better grow like crazy. Well, all those nutrients coming from the guano and going into the ground, and of course, the now forced growth of all this grazed area propagates and becomes this self-fulfilling thing of a ecological cycle of life. So that's the way that one works. But then, of course, the government, their infinite wisdom was like, well, we'll just take Bundy down and blah, 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 blah. That didn't quite work out because a bunch of armed Americans showed up at the Bundy Ranch and said, no, and we're here in force. So these guys that were from the government said, oh, snap, we're about to get our tail feathers shot off. We better back the blank down fast or we're going to get our tail feathers shot off. Because the public was like, look, we've seen what you guys do at Ruby Ridge. We've seen what you've done at Waco. We don't trust you anymore. And preemptively, it could be said, the government in their infinite wisdom said, this is too big a snake to wrestle, and we're going to get bit. So they backed the hell off. Then they tried to sue and, take into court Cliven and the rest of the family. And that didn't work out either because it was found to be, you're on your own property or you're defending your property. Government overstepped. They lost bad. Well, anyway, TR is not a conservative. He was a conservationist, but he was not a conservative. Never mixed the two things up. He was not. And it could be said that he was tending towards the left side of the aisle in some of his things. Case in point, man. Read up about the guy. He was not exactly a true conservative, ever. Let's see. Patriot Fever says, let's go start the GoFund, dude, and whether or not dude supports the quacking truckers. Here's another question. The quacking truckers. Oh, wow. Would that be like the Quakers or the Quackers or something along those lines? Okay. Unfortunately, the farm ground doesn't pick up and move. I tried. Martinez, I don't agree with the land grabs, but the vast majority of the domestic policies weren't nearly as bad as the ones in my lifetime. Well, no. But you got to remember, too, what happened in the 20s, going into the 30s, going into the 40s. Well, we went into the Depression. And FDR, and you could read up on your history about this, FDR prolonged the Depression with his New Deal. It was not advantageous for the public to give up their gold to make the new gold standard. It was not advantageous for people to, have the government grow by leaps and bounds. It was not advantageous for the government to stack the Supreme Court. And FDR basically told the Supreme Court, it's like, look, you're going to vote my way or I'm going to stack the court how I want. And I'll just outlast you guys because I'm not going anywhere. That's why we have 2 terms now, is because he became a tyrannical dictator sitting in the White House and micromanaging literally everything. If you look at the policies of FDR, he was not a good dude. And the only thing that got us out of the Depression, was called World War II. Yeah, that's the only thing that got us out, literally. Martinez Sasquatch don't agree with the land grabs. Is also a libertarian and not a Republican. I will expressly tell you, I am not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a libertarian with anarchist conservative leanings. And I love the way that was described. That was, of all people, David Carradine was doing a radio interview years ago. And they're like, so, dude, where do you fall politically? He goes, technically, I'm an anarchist conservative. I was like, that's me. That's me. And then I heard, where the libertarians come into thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm quasi both of these things. So that's kind of me, too. If I can't fix it, I just want to burn it down and build a new one. The New Deal and more fees on imports kept us in depression for an extra 10 to 13 years. Yeah, of course. Well, if you know anything about the Civil War was not about slavery. It was about states' rights and tariffs. Why? Because the North would overly tax the South. The South was like, dude, I'm tired of this crap, and we want to basically have equality. And the North said, you know what? We got our guy in the White House. Go pound sand. That's where that came from. So anyway, GoFundMe basically lost their ass on this one. Had to renege, had to rejigger, call it what you will. And I believe that they're either refunding the fees, fines, and accrued fundage, or they are just simply just giving it to the truckers. Now, there is another realm of possibilities that can use versus GoFundMe. You use Give, Send, Go. Give, Send, Go is a Christian setup entity, and they take no fees at all. Everything that you donate goes to the cause that is represented on Give, Send, Go. Those guys are freaking awesome. I posted up a meme on February 9, and this one, this is absolutely hilarious. And this was posted up, and it says, rumor has it, with a U, so obviously a Canadian English style, speaker there. Rumor has it, boats are gearing up to block Halifax Harbor in Nova Scotia. Been in the making for a few days. We'll see what takes place. And there's a boat there with a flag. I gotta be charitable here, but there's a flag here that has an F, a Canadian maple leaf, CK, Trudeau. So obviously the truckers have been talking to the boaters, and the boaters are just simply going to run out into Halifax Harbor, Nova Scotia, and they might shut things down. Okay, this is organic, Trudeau. This is organic. Anytime that you guys say that you can't do something and you push back against a popular cause, or basically a bunch of people who are doing something that's kind of commonly seen as, advantageous, or just, you have that whole little, kind of, I really want to, the whole kind of, flip them off kind of thing to the government, and you make it organic, people find out a way. I mean, one of my absolute favorite recent videos, and I actually happened to be standing in a firearms establishment at the time, but the news story came on, and I was talking to the older gentleman who owns the store, and he's like, "What's going on there?" It's like, "Oh, dude, this is blanking hilarious." And of course, we can curse in public discourse. It's like, "Oh, dude, this is blanking hilarious." It's like, "What is it?" It's like, "Well, the truckers are obviously running out of gas, right? So these people are bringing in gas cans. So the cops were like seizing the gas." He's like, "Okay, well, that sounds like something the cops would do." I was like, "Yeah, well, here's the problem. 1 in 3 of those cans has fuel in it. The rest of the cans are decoys. So these guys are walking around carrying empty gas cans. You see cars going by with empty gas cans, and it's become a secondary protest to the truckers to carry around a fuel can saying, 'I support the truckers.' And the cops are losing their mind going, who actually has fuel and who doesn't?" Yeah, so the guys are walking around, they just tank up the truck, and they're now walking around with the empty cans, banging them on each other. Other people walking around with empty cans, banging them on each other. People are walking around banging the empty cans like, "Hey, screw you, you didn't stop me. Somebody got refueled." Yeah, yeah. Pedro Fever. So Trudeau owe quack and not owe duck? Not to belabor the joke. Oh yeah, it would definitely be oh quack. So yeah, he would be okay. I think I have these handled. You cannot stop me. Oh, here comes all the truckers. They shut down the bridge again. Oh, yeah. Me with the quack. He doesn't have the quack. I got the quack. Dude, stop. Okay. So now that I got the quack, everything is good. Yes, right. Oh, jeez. I think that was Sound Guy saying his version of quack was like, the get down music. Patron Fever, that's actually damn smart. Curious Entertainment, Sound Guy returns. And Sound Guy never goes anywhere. Trust me, dude. He's there in the ethers, and when you least expect him, he pops up and he does something. Anyway, but yeah, the gas can thing, I saw that, man. I was literally in tears. That was hilarious. Hang on a second here. What the heck was this? All right, I don't know what that one was, but supposedly it was a news story I linked off, and I don't know. I don't know what it was for. Okay, food review. I got to give you guys a food review. Why? Because there's just sometimes I'll go out and I'll eat something, and it's just another case of yeah, and I went to Burger King. Okay, I had the Chuck King sandwich, which is not like the appearance in the picture. It is not even remotely close to looking as like, kind of crispy and unctuous and sandwichy. And okay, what I got, the roll was like, it was like bagel consistency of tough. Okay, so it's not even like like a challah or like like one of those kind of nice eggy rolls. I'm gonna take this from top on down. It was not like one of those good eggy rolls, that you bite into and you're like, oh, it's got mouthfeel. No, it was not like that at all. Okay, the dressing that they put on it, sauce. How else could I say what it was on there? It was gack that they put on there, and how do you say it was something they threw on there? Yeah, it was just it was just it was on there, okay? Yeah, it was on there. I don't think they put that much on there, sound guy, okay? Okay, they put the sauce on there. The sauce was basically charitably a detuned Miracle Whip. And there's a story behind Miracle Whip, and I got to tell you, folks, this was probably one of the highest levels of food disgust I have ever experienced on an attached addendum storyline. Was I was doing a tow job and I was out in the middle of Nowheresville, stopped at a quote unquote air quotes Italian place, and I said, "Oh, steak and cheese, cool." So I got a steak and cheese sub, good size, very meaty. And I was like, this thing smells great. Yeah. So basically, get back in the truck. I got to make time to get back to my area of influence because I was out in the middle of Nowheresville. Forget where the hell I was, but I was out literally in the middle of Nowheresville, like literally like the highway goes, and it's like this is like the lead off to like the small town, kind of like on the mountainside kind of a deal, like one of those. So I'm making my way back. Reach down, grab that thing. I'm driving a flatbed tow truck at the time, so it's really easy. I just reach down, grab the thing. Truck's on cruise control. Grab it, unwrap it, take a sniff, and it's like, sandwich. Take that first bite, and it's like, oh no. It was wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Miracle Whip on a steak and cheese sub. At that point, I was just like, do I swallow or do I spit? It's like, I'm swallowing it. This is getting wrapped up and I'm pitching it over my shoulder. I have not eaten this nasty ass thing all the way back to my destination. I'll probably hit someplace to get something else to eat because this sandwich sucked. All right, so then going from top on down with the Burger King Chuck King, which I think Chuck crap is, and it Chuck effing sucked. Anyway, the chicken itself texturally was okay. Taste wise, there's nothing going on there. The breading was like just suck. I mean, just bad. Like they literally took like cracker crumbs, soaked it in egg, threw it on this thing, and said, "Yeah, that's breading." No, there was nothing good about it. It basically had like barely any chicken flavor. There was some okay pickles on there. I'll give them that. The pickles on there are actually really decent. That was like the high point. But I gotta say, man, the sauce was just like Miracle Whip. The roll was terrible, and the chicken is just beyond nasty. Why a food place can't make a decent chicken sandwich, I have no clue at all. Go to Chick-fil-A, okay? Just go to KFC. Go to Popeyes. Steal the ideas from those guys and make your own version because this thing was rank, beyond rank. Don't get the Burger King Chuck King sandwich, which costs way too much money for what you're getting. As a matter of fact, I probably should just write him a letter and say, "Look, I want my money back." That's Mr. Remington. Speaking of things coming down the pike in terms of Canadian offerings, Alberta said that they're going to scrap the passport for the covert Chinese communist covert viral infection. They're going to scrap the passport program, and they announced the path to lifting all restrictions. That's cool. So when the provinces, which would be their version of states, starts doing stuff like that, that's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one or not. This one is bad ass. Let me get out of that tab and open up a new one. This is coming from RasmussenReports.com. Public content, politics, current events, gun control, and gun violence. So this one posted up on February 7. Politics, gun violence. Most Americans want stricter enforcement, not new laws. People have been saying this for blanking ever. Stop throwing new laws around if you're not going to enforce the old ones. Well, seems that it's a bad case of, president, the name is... Yeah, him. We're talking about... Yeah, President... Yeah, and he's talking about his usual realm and stupidness of, yeah. So anyway, President Joe Kaka has called on Congress to pass more gun control laws. Most Americans believe stricter enforcement of existing laws would do more to reduce violent crime. The latest Rasmussen Reports National Telephone and Online Survey finds that 63% of American adults believe the United States needs stricter enforcement of existing gun laws. 28% disagree. And then, of course, there's, how to break it down, this, that, and the other thing. But supposedly 1,000 U.S. adults conducted on January 31, 2022 by Rasmussen, the margin of sampling and error was plus or minus 3% with a 95% level of confidence. So Rasmussen is one of those guys that usually tends to get stuff pretty right. And Joe Kaka doing his usual, I know what's right for you and you should follow everything I say because, I'm Joe Kaka. It's really not how the public discourse is going. Remy's running circles. I don't know what's up with him. But it's not how people tend to think. And the only thing I've noticed in terms of firearm sales is there has been a slowdown in NICS checks, which is the National Instant Check. And that has slowed down. Remy, what are you doing, Remy? Yes. What are you doing? Yes. All right, you don't know which one. Anyway, he's like just below camera view here. But anyway, trust me, you see the tail moving around. So that's Remington. Of course, Orange is being jealous. So anyway, the way it's working out is pretty much the thing that everybody has ever said. Enforce the laws that are on the books. Stop trying to throw new laws at us. Stop coming up with all these feel-good measures that really just don't do anything. Now, here's the dirty little secret. If you look on the books, there is probably in excess of 30 or 40,000 gun laws on the books. Well, how many gun murders is there per year? Somewhere between 30 and 40,000 gun murders per year. So anyway, the way, shape, and form of things is essentially people are now seeing things for what it is, and they're voting with their wallets by going out and buying firearms. So yes, there's been a slowdown, but this has been after how many years of people buying like crazy going into the Obama administration. Then, of course, going into the Biden administration where people are like, oh, dude, I better have it now because I don't know what the heck they're going to do with me. And then, of course, you had everybody going, well, there's not enough ammunition. Well, if 18 million more people buy firearms, don't you think they're going to want to have something to use in it? Yes, that'll cause a major slowdown in firearm sales, ammunition, because oh, yeah, they've depleted all the available stocks. That's how that one works. So let's see. Scrolly. But, yeah, I got to say, man, Joe, keep it up. You're going to make the red wave a major tsunami. You're going to do it. You're just going to do it. Scrolly. Scrolly. This one posted up on February 12th. Now, I find this absolutely beyond hilarious. Supposedly, the Durham investigation has been not reported by any of the mainstream left-wing networks. Why? Well, because they really painted themselves in a corner with the whole Russian collusion and Trump and Russian collusion and all the Russian collusion with Trump and the Trump administration's collusion with Russia. Okay, last time I looked, and you can look this up for yourself, folks. There is no charge in any realm way of stating it in any way. There is no charge whatsoever in the United States government to say that one entity is guilty of collusion at all. There is no such of a charge. So it's a made up thing along with their gravitas and along with the other left-hearted affectations of which they tend to utilize. And Durham is now starting to break out the information from his investigation. And there's a reason why you haven't heard a word about the guy. And I can tell you for a fact, it is going to be very detailed, and it's going to be very, very just wait for the the mushroom cloud on the horizon, folks, because Durham is an beyond anal investigator. He wants to have all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed, and when he gets done with it, oh my stars and garters, it is leading back to none other than her finest, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, the thing about it is, I find really strikingly amazing, of course, is all the right wing, OAN, obviously Fox News, obviously Sean Hannity, obviously Mark Levin, all those guys, Will Cowell, I forget his first name, but Will Cowell, all these guys on the right wing of the news media sphere of things, they're talking about this because it's news. The guys on the other side of the aisle, obviously, they're not going to say a word because they really painted themselves in a corner by saying, oh, yeah, Trump was XYZ, colluding with the Russians and blah, 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 blah. The FISA warrants. And then that's the other thing, too, is also obtaining the FISA warrants the way in which they did and the data mining that they did. They didn't just do it to Trump and his server in Trump Towers. No, they did the data mining by overreaching a government entitled information technology company who overreached their authority to go snooping around in, the White House. Guys, girls, kiddies, that's the don't do it, okay? When the government says we're going to give you permission to operate from A to C, if necessary, you can go to D. Okay, so you go A to D. That is your limitation. That is your structure of influence. Don't go any further. Well, they didn't just go A to D. They just said Z. Let's go a little beyond Z. When you start snooping the White House and its secure servers under, like special accredited permissions, that is beyond tyranny. Okay, that is beyond snooping, like the way that you never ever should. That is spying. Okay, that is just full on domestic terrorism, call it what you will. It is doing it in such a way that you're trying to usurp a sitting president of the United States. Oh my stars and garters, and oh wow, Hillary's got some worrying to do if she didn't already. Now, if she doesn't pop a gasket over this, I very sincerely doubt it. But I remember hearing this one quote from her, and she was saying this to another staffer. It's like, if this, how do I say this without saying this? Mother father. I think it was, if this mother father gets elected, we're all going to effing hang. She was quoted as saying that. Now, since he got elected and he was doing his 60 Minutes interview and said, yeah, I've been spied on. And the chick's like, oh, no, you can't say that. This is 60 Minutes. We have to go with things that are truthful. And he's like, no, I was really spied on. She's like basically like countering the president of the United States and say, now you're full of crap, sir. Yeah, that's not going to hold up really, really good. And in the long view and historical references, no matter how much the Democrats and the left-hard media try to clean this one up, it is going to be very, very bad for them. Patriot Fever now starting life insurance GoFundMe for Durham food checkers. sir, here's your lunch. Yeah, I tend to think he's got perfect security on that one. I don't think they're going to knock him off. If he dies unexpectedly, oh, my stars and garters, things are going to be really, really bad. Let's see. Okay, nothing notable in the room I need to touch on. But anyway, so that's where that one's going. Stay tuned on that one. Oh, wow. Holy crap. Cannot begin to do that one justice. That is going to be amazing. I heard about this news story, and the only thing I could say was, why did you even bother? Why did you even bother? All right, this news story is essentially Joe Kaka was talking to President, Vladimir Putin about the Ukraine. They had an hour-long phone call, and I'm sure Putin was just like, President, I got nothing to say to you. And he was like, you know what? You really shouldn't go to the Ukraine. And, it's like, no, it's just not going to happen, President. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And if I do things, I don't do things. It is up to me and my people. You can go bite the wet one. I tend to think, though, that it's very interesting that they're doing this. Oh, it's going to happen on Wednesday. Oh, they're going to be invading the Ukraine. Oh, well, I've heard some other, smarter, more level-headed people going on about things. And Putin doesn't need to even cross the border. In the process of doing that, the things that he's done right now, he's, one, destabilized the Ukrainian economy hugely. He's made them, two, dip into major cash reserves to try to prop up, whatever amount of craziness they have going on right now between, the Donbass side of things and the Kiev side of things. Because here's the dirty little secret. The guys over in Donbass, which is basically the eastern side of Ukraine, they're kind of more Russian than they are Ukrainian. I mean, they still claim Ukrainian birthright, but they really tend to like hanging out with the Russians. And I got to say, as long as it works out for them, that might actually be the long-term solution. And truthfully, what really, truly needs to have happen, and this is me speaking from outside, this is kind of one of those, I can kind of understand where you guys are coming from, with the whole the Ukrainian thing versus like the Israeli versus Palestinian thing. Your only thing you're doing here is you're flipping sides. The Palestinians are in the West Bank. The Israelis are on the east. Well, in the Ukraine, the Kiev guys are in the west, and the east guys are the Donbass guys. Well, the Donbass guys, they kind of want to be more a part of Russia than they want to be more of a part of Ukraine. So, truthfully, what I tend to think should have happened is probably the easiest thing for them to do. And in the long-term solution, and probably the best way to do things is you make the Ukraine a two-state place. And you have either a virtual or a true border between these two places where it's like, dude, you better understand you're crossing out of the Kiev and into the Donbass. And the Donbass, you're crossing into the Kiev. So you better either switch off from Ukrainian to Russian or Russian to Ukrainian and pick your side, man, because it's not going to work out in the long view, because even the people in Donbass really kind of want to be more with the Russians than they want to be more with the guys with the Kiev guys, because they see the guys in Kiev as wimps. I mean, it's one of those sucky little things, because, that whole thing about the strong Russian guy will be the strong Russian guy, strong like bull. It's not even really like a machismo thing. It's more like a confidence thing than anything. And I think what it is really in the long view is the guys in Donbass really want to be more part of Russia than they ever want to be part of the Ukraine for economic reasons and sociological reasons. And, long view, I think they tend to think that there's going to be a border that's going to literally be cutting that area off and saying, yeah, we're now part of Russia again. The only downside is there was an agreement some years ago, and I forget if it was 96 or a little later, but there was an agreement where the Ukraine gave up their nukes, and they said, okay, NATO, US, and everybody else, please protect us from these bad, nasty Russians if we give up our nukes. Well, I tend to think it's actually a good thing that they did give up the nukes because, cooler heads might prevail. But on the other side of things, if they still had the nukes, they'd be able to tell the Russians, look, that's the line, man, okay? Don't cross the line or else. And the or else means 10 minutes later, your ass is glowing in the dark, okay? So there is some security to be had with the mutually assured destruction, but, it also becomes very complex and very involved, and it becomes a very, very kind of drug out thing, long drawn out, pissing and moaning from this group versus that group and all the rest of that fun stuff. But the biggest thing is that's essentially really what the problem is they really need to be a two-state nation. That would solve a lot of problems because I've talked to, guys from Eritrea and I've talked to guys from Ethiopia, and you literally have to know which one you're talking to because you say, "Oh man, you're Eritrean," and the guy goes, "No, I'm Ethiopian." It's like, "Oh, okay, sorry, man, didn't mean to, it's okay, but no, it's a different place." It's like there's a completely different mindset between those two things. It's as simple as saying you're the guy from California or the guy from Texas. Don't mix those two things up. Don't, because they're completely different animals, completely different people from two not that very different geographical areas. Very, very different things. Let's see. Martina Sasquatch. They went so far that they actually had to switch from snooping with the Latin alphabet and jump to Cyrillic. Oh, I completely believe that one, dude. It's the whole thing is essentially it's now a pissing match. That's really, really all it is. And then the whole time it's been going on, Putin's just like, I really would like to have my obviously he's got the warm seaport that he wanted back. And all those other areas are kind of, gilding the lily. It really doesn't do anything for him. I mean, Russia's pretty damn big, but if you could have another little chunk of the Ukraine, yeah, that's growing back to the former Soviet Socialist Republic, of which he was a party member, of which he was a strident guy, basically working KGB or GRU, I forget which one it was, but he was one of the hands-on guys, and there's a reason why he speaks German. Oh yeah, it's because he was working in East Germany in the I believe it was, but he was working East Germany. There's a reason why he speaks fluent German. It's because he was working in the German side of the split up Germany. Oh yeah, East Berlin, West Berlin. Hello. History is one of those things you're doomed to, get bitten on the ass by if you do not know it. Patriot fever. In fairness, the guy from Texas most likely won't shoot you. Yeah, exactly. You'll have the guy from California be from like East LA and he'll bust a cap in your ass. Oh man. All right. So anyway, I tend to see that phone call was just like Putin laughing at the guy and going, just go away. Go away. You Joe Kaka. You Kaka. Not impressed. I really truly don't care about the Super Bowl. Did not watch a minute of it, except I saw the one where the one guy got, the one receiving thing where he basically misstepped and blew out his knee. I was curious about that because I'd heard about it. So I literally just watched that one video clip, and it was like 30 seconds. So, I did not watch any moments of the NFL's offerings of, this is our best and brightest. Go away. Not into it. Two anti-American teams of well-trained dirtbags making millions to chase a ball for 2 hours. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. I got better things to do. Scroll. I don't know if you got this one or not, but Fleming M basically did a Colin crap on Dick Neal during his little performance of, crap music on top of crap music. God, the halftime shows used to be not too terribly bad. As a matter of fact, if you guys want to see a really amazing halftime show, look up the one that Prince did some years ago. That was badass. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but Gina Carano has now got a movie coming out, and I commend it to you. It will be coming out exactly 1 year after being, crap canned by Disney. The movie is called Terror on the Prairie. She's running around doing some pretty epic booted out, bow, and it's good shiznit, man. I saw the trailer, and she pretty much is like in a cabin, gears up, and proceeds to engage the bad guys. I don't know if that's the whole movie, but just to watch her gearing up and kicking some tail, that was a lot of fun, man. Nothing like a chick rocking a set of double, a nice load of firearms. Yes, yes. She basically geared up and she was carrying a nice load of firearms. Of that, I shall say no more. But yeah, that's going to be coming out, and it's called Terror on the Prairie. I commend it to you. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not. I literally went on the tribal website to thank them for this, but the Kickapoo Indian tribe, Kickapoo Nation in Texas, is allowing Texas to build a border fence across their sacred lands. Now, there's a reason why this is hugely, hugely, hugely notable. First off, there's not that many Kickapoo left. I mean, you're talking like maybe 3,000 to 8,000 total members in the United States left. So there's like a distinct history for the Kickapoos. The Kickapoos were actually from way north, like Michigan, Wisconsin, that kind of area. And through trials and tribulations and government interference and tribal warfare, call it what you will, they had a very, how should I put this? They had a very unique way of dealing with, the influence of, outside forces. They said, you know what? You guys can duke it out amongst yourselves. We're out of here. So in the process of being a wandering tribe, they set up an area that got taken over. They went down further, that became taken. They went down further, that became taken. So finally they got to a point where they were like, look, we're pretty much, Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, kind of like that area. We're not going any further. Well, they actually did. There is actually a true Kickapoo speaking branch of the Kickapoo in Mexico. And they have a non-debased version of their base language, which is really kind of cool because supposedly there is some kind of regional dialects or, they're trying to keep the language intact. The problem is, of course, obviously their numbers are declining. So the thing about it is these guys getting shoved south. So finally they're in Texas, man. There is no further south unless they're in Mexico. Well, there is a component of their nation in Mexico. Well, the thing about it is giving up that land is huge. They're saying, you know what? We might be first persons and we might be an Indian nation, but we see the bigger picture. We know for a fact that allowing illegal immigrants, quote unquote, I'm just going to simply say illegals crossing the border into our land and then finally to the rest of the United States, we can't allow this. So essentially that's what's going on with that one is the Kickapoo tribe is now allowing a fence to be built across their sacred lands in Texas. Now, I literally reached out on their website and sent them a message on the website. Hey, guys, thank you so much. I know what a huge thing this is to let somebody build on your sacred lands. Thank you. As a fellow American, thanking a first person and also a fellow American, I thank you. So if you guys wish to do that, just go look up the Kickapoo Tribe website online. And that is beyond huge and beyond just gracious on their part because not a lot of those guys left. And anytime you allow somebody to do something on your nation's lands, that's huge because you're literally talking about, the reason why they refer to Indian nations as nations is they literally are sovereign lands in the United States. So that's huge. And I wish to thank them for that one because that's amazing. That's an amazing sacrifice on their part. And I just thought it was really, really cool. So anyway, looking at things as it is, I think I've run out of stuff to talk about on that one. Yeah. I'm out of news stories. Yay. I'm out of news stories. Patriot River says here, Kickapoo State Park in Illinois. Yes, they were in Illinois as well. Fairness. Jeez. Patriot Fever's having fun in the room. All right, so we're coming up the 1 hour time period. I do terribly appreciate you guys' time and efforts watching my stuff. I know that it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, good stuff like that there. Those of you who don't know how things work, I'll give it a quick rundown. I have two cameras in concert here. I have a YouTube camera and I have a Facebook camera. So literally there's two cameras in concert. I have my laptop running over there, which is doing the simulcast off on Facebook. I have my home computer running off on YouTube. Good stuff like that there. Those people decide to come in the room, make your comments on good stuff like that there. I do appreciate your kind attentions. I know you got many other things to do on a Tuesday, but you guys decided to hang out with me, and I truly, truly appreciate your kind attentions. So I'm going to break up this one, folks. So eat your keep centering as always, you know you love it, and have a good week, and I'll catch you guys next week, and maybe I'm going to put out something midweek, and I don't know, but YouTube sometimes is really freaking annoying. It's like you put out something and you get like almost no views, and they're like, yeah, we'll allow you to put this on here, but we're going to give you absolutely no notice whatsoever. Thank you so much. Ugh, YouTube. I got an itch right here for YouTube. All right, folks, I'm going to break up. Catch you later, and see ya, and have a good stuff. Good times, and I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one. Catch you guys.